When a great player doesn't have a good game, it's not about how one person guarded them. It's about how the whole team was able to guard that one player. And last night, the Clippers were able to limit Luka just enough to 29, 10, and 7, as crazy as it sounds, to be able to get that win by 15, 20 points. And so even if you're not a good on-ball defender, you can still be a good team defender. And we're about to take a look at how exactly you can do so. So let's get straight to it. First things first, always being in rotation, always being ready to move, always being ready to rotate. Number one thing, you got to be able to read plays ahead. The season slipped by Powell. Dallas goes to this so many times in the game. PG makes sure he's not late, comes over, stops Powell from having that open lane to the rim. As Zubac, big body, couldn't move his feet, got the blocker foul. On top of that, deflections are underrated. All because a deflection doesn't result in a steal, it's able to help your defense get back set. Because even in situations like this, where Marcus Morris, who's not their primary defender on Luka Doncic, and Kawhi Leonard or PG is, they're able to get back set because Kawhi got that ball out of bounds. And now Luka has to get more time to be able to go back and get the mismatch that he wants. Deflections are so underrated. Just keep your hands active, even if you don't get the steal. Then, of course, Kawhi getting the steal. But they really just left Luka with no options in the situation. It's not just about Zubac coming over here. Not just about Batum coming here on this double. Powell also comes over, takes away this corner pass. Morris takes away this pass to the top. Batum's in a spot where he can't even throw it back to the corner, and Kawhi just has his active hands. Gets that steal. It's about how the whole team is able to limit the options that one player has. So even if you're a small guard, you can still do all these things. If you're a big man, you can still do all these things I'm about to show you throughout this entire video. Communication from Zubac. Now, how do I know he communicated? You can see communication. You don't just have to hear it. You can see communication. You just don't have to hear it. Peep this. You can hear Zubac a little bit in the background, 1. And then 2, notice how Kawhi adjusts. Throughout the entire night, they're playing the pick and rolls as an ice, meaning they're forcing it out the middle, making sure nothing gets middle. And so you see Kawhi jump to the side, push up on Luka's hip, and get over the top of that screen. And that's all because Zubac was able to open his mouth and communicate. And there's even more examples. There's going to be a lot of times you hear Zubac, and I'm going to show some clips, to where you just hear him talking loud. Because some of y'all don't even like to talk. Y'all just sit back and just whisper, but people in the first row barely can even hear you. But Zubac is talking so loud that even the microphones are picking up on him. And the players don't got no mics. Now, what Reggie Jackson just did right there is not what you're supposed to do. That's not what you're supposed to do as a defender. Now, first things first, let's peep personnel. Josh Green, not a great shooter, maybe like 34% shooting. Or if you give him a late close, probably around 34%. Probably knock down some open shots. But that does absolutely nothing. That doesn't close up the gap Hardaway has. That doesn't make him think about anything. He's still able to do exactly what he wanted to do, even if Reggie Jackson was outside in a pickup truck in a glizzy. There's no difference to what he made right there. So if you're going to dig, make sure you actually close that gap up, make him actually think about something, and then get back and throw hands. Because if they make that pass, you have active hands, be able to maybe get a deflection on his hoop. Requesting a screen from Powell, wants to get Zoo on him, gets what he wants, gets to the foul line, dumps it back. That's how you adjust. Even though he didn't do nothing much a few plays before, he's still ready when he's off the ball. Anytime somebody throws these lob passes over the top, that's your help. That if the help defense is in the right spot, you should easily be able to get a hand on that. Easily be able to get a hand. Because the way the ball is coming, there's not much velocity. The offensive player is waiting for the ball to land, come into their hands. But that gives you time to be able to rotate, get a hand on that ball. Great help defense. Average 5 of 9 here in this quarter. 1 point miss, 9 consecutive shots in his first. Good rotation by Powell. But how the hell did he fall? Good rotation. I like the hustle. Look how far he came across the court. Made the switch. Came over on this help. Went all the way to this other side of the paint. Swing, swing. Closeouts, gets to his body. But then, boom, he touches earth. He's doing a push-up. He just did a push-up. He just did a push-up. He just did a push-up, bro. But that's good hustle. That's good way to actually get out and get to his body. They took away every single option that Josh Green had in that situation. He was only bound to fail. He was only bound to fail. Notice the help side. Jackson, good closeout, stay in front. Morris came all the way over. Batum drops, Powell rotates, and now Green is going so fast that he's not even able to peep somebody coming to his middle or even be able to make a read to where to throw the ball. So now he's just going so fast at a pace where he sees so many guys and see his options close off that he's just forced to do something. Or even if he wasn't going to step out of bounds, he still threw his turnover.
On the baseline, a whistle, and he steps out. Clippers down by 1.
You heard him. You heard him. I told you, communication, you got to be loud. You can't just say, because you're going to step out the game, your coach will be like, oh, you got to talk, you got to talk. But you're like, yeah, I did talk, but they can't hear you. Talk louder. This is an NBA game with the whole crowd noise, arena sounds. And yet I can still hear Zubac. We can still hear Zubac saying ice, 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 even when they don't have any microphones. So it makes no sense for you to be in a high school game where you just got little chatter in the background for your teammate not to be able to hear you, or for your coach who's on a sideline not to be able to hear you. You've got to talk.
By 10 in this game, Maverick.
You listen to him again.
Clippers down by 1.
If he's not going to be able to make switches on these screens and guard the perimeter, the least he could do is communicate to his teammates so he's in the right position and they're doing what they need to do.
By 10 in this game, Mavericks on the year 20-9 when they lead by 10 or more. Doncic misses again, 4.
Deserves that board too.
Clippers have been a second-half team, seemingly.
Heard him again, ice, 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 and knows how Morris adjusts to this as well, like man did last time. Ice, ice, ice. He jumps to the middle, so there's no middle, pushing everything out the middle toward to the baseline.
Seemingly forever, under 8 to play in the frame. Doncic, a step away, clean look, long rebound.
I'm telling you, if you just open your mouth, you're gonna be able to get a lot more playing time. Hold on, pause. I ain't mean it like that. Just open your mouth, you get a lot more playing time and get a lot more stops. Pause again, man. I really did not mean it like that. Pause. Look at PG. Look at PG. Look at PG. Look at PG. All this is doing right here, this is just discouraging Luka from being able to make a play right here and make a pass to either Hardaway Jr. right here or Bullock right here in this corner. Because now Luka sees that PG's ready for this. But now he has to wait a little longer. Hardaway has to shuffle up, and then he makes that pass. That's all that his hands are doing. It's not like he's gonna get a steal, but it's just throwing off Luka's ability to read and make a play.
These two teams conclude their season series on February 8th in downtown.
Now, just like I said, you can see communication. There is no communication right there. Now, where I think this whole thing got a little messed up a little bit is I notice as Kawhi turns, he sees Morris coming up. Now he's like, okay, we can switch this. But it's another screen that's coming, and it's Powell and it's Zubac. So now Kawhi is in a mode where he has to drop back and under and switch, but it's Zubac now, and he has to go over. Zubac misses communication right here on this one. You got to make sure everybody's got to be on point at all times. But that's what offensive sets are going to do to you. It's going to try to trick you. It's going to try to make you make the wrong play, and it worked out just right for the Mavs right there. Batum, same thing as PG. Batum, same thing as PG. It's just telling him that he's aware that he's going to try to make one of these passes, and he's going to be ready for it. And so he just doesn't throw a pass to the corner because he knows what Batum's doing. He's going to be right there. He's going to be ready to go. Luka just takes it on his own, gets his own bucket. Marcus Morris don't get no flop. Norman Powell matchup. This is not his primary defender. Deflections. Deflections get your defense reset. You get back to who you're supposed to be guarding, and now it's a whole new possession, but with half the time on the shot clock for the offensive team. Deflections are so underrated. To start getting your hands out, even if you don't end up getting a steal, like I said, it's gonna help you be able to still get that stop. Great hustle by Jackson. Oh, big break. Great hustle by Jackson, though. Came all the way from the double team. All the way from the double team on the other side. Shows he knows exactly where he has to go to now. He knows Luka's going to make the skip. And he has to run as hard as he can to get to that corner. And if you say you can't do this right here, then how are you even playing basketball? Because anybody can run. Anybody can sprint. So why can't you do it? Oh, if you're too cool, you're too lazy, you don't feel like it, you're too tired. Well, go get conditioned. Go run your sprints. Stop being lazy and don't ask questions while you're not in the game because you're not making high effort plays like this. Like, come on now. Anybody could do this. It's just that, do you want to put the effort in to be able to make these plays, to make yourself tired? If you're tired from these plays like this, you should be. And then you tell your coach you need one, and then you're going to get right back in and get that same hustle.
For Dallas, Green, a contested three.
Got to get up into him and try to keep him in front. Here's the
So you end up being tired is not an excuse.
Now with five
Pete
to
Covington.
shoot. Doncic.
Great hands.
Pocket picked by the fastest hands in the West. Covington gets it ahead
The
to
fastest
Powell.
hands in the West. Robert Covington, fastest hands in the West. Hey, as soon as Luka took that second dribble, that told him he was just going to try to get through that gap. Covington just made a play at the ball.
Doncic. Pocket picked by
I'm telling you, you can sit in those gaps, unlike Reggie Jackson did a few minutes ago. It's going to close off those lanes. You can be a good team defender. All of these things, you don't have to be athletically gifted to do any of this. You don't have to be super fast. You don't have to have a crazy vert. Anybody can do this. If you play basketball, you can do this.
team, but there's got to be all arms and legs to try and get a piece of the deflection.
Finney Smith, the double clutcher.
Now, in these situations where you're making these closeouts on these rotations, if you're Powell right here, or if you're anybody in a situation like this, you got to be able to read if your teammate's going to be able to close out back to his own. Because if he is, there's no need for you to come all the way over and try to take his when he could already grab his again. But he comes over, takes his, leaves Finney Smith wide open. Luckily, Finney Smith turned to Finney Smoke, missed the layup.
Off the wing to play in the game. Green into the paint, finds Bullock in the corner.
Everybody
Back to the
hustling.
youngster. Spins away from Leonard and attacks the rim.
And then if you give enough good effort, you could be able to get plays like this where the ball is not in the hands of the person it's supposed to be. They get sped up, and then they smoke a layup. So that's the end of this video. Make sure you subscribe, like, turn on those notifications. Hidden highlight videos dropping daily, breakdowns dropping daily, all this stuff. And we out of here.